Hello there again. Welcome back to the Slumber Valley and Pacific Railroad. Today we're in for a treat. We have some visitors coming from Boston, Massachusetts. Mr. Lucius Beebe and Charles Clegg. They're going to come. They heard about the Slumber Valley and Pacific, and they were in the area, so they decided to run a rail car from Denver and Rio Grande and come visit our railroad and maybe even write a book about it. Who knows? But anyways, we got to go and meet them up over by Hancock at the little station over there. So let's climb aboard. Today's engine is going to be a RS3 from the Delaware and Hudson Railroad that was leased to us. Our engineer will be Freddie the engineer and Charlie the conductor. So let's get going. Here we are at the engine house at Alpine Station, and Charlie and Freddie are in the engine and they're just about ready to get going. As they clear the switch, Charlie will go out and throw it. Had a little malfunction there. Might still even have a malfunction. again. Oh, we don't want that. Things are not going very well for Freddie and Charlie this morning. Having a little engine problems. Then they get derailed down by the switch. That's why they stay at a slow speed going through the yard here. Track work still hasn't been fixed, so little Charlie gets out again and throws the switch. I think we got it all squared away now. We make our way down the station's lead here, the main line. You can see our tourist train is getting ready, getting people ready. I think they're going to do a tourist run today. Who knows? Every day something new on the Slumber Valley and Pacific. Okay, we're coming up to the station. We're going to be going through Alpine Tunnel. We come up through Hancock. We see the logging operation of Kevin's Logging Company. And we see that Mr. Clegg and Mr. Beebe have their car all ready for us. So we'll just back right up real slow and connect on to them. There we go, we're all connected up. And we'll start our way up to we'll go back to Alpine Tunnel. Now we're going to stop at Alpine Station here for the gentleman to take in the views. Okay, we have here is a T-track, a loading dock. Across the road we have another loading dock. Now we got fuel oil, lumber, cattle, whatever the people in this area need, the railroad delivers to them. In the background is the railroad yard, and our train is still being loaded over there, waiting customers and tourists to see the valley. As we go down the lead, there's a cattle loading pen, there's the shops, the water tower, and engine house, and way down the end down there we have Jeremiah's ice dock. And then the lead going out of the yard goes through the tunnel. So once again, everybody's on board, and off we go. As we leave the yard, we're heading down. Heading towards Jake's Corners. As we come into Jake's Corners, we're coming in and we'll be coming into the station at Jake's Corners. All right, here we are in Jake's Corners. Gentlemen are going to get off the train to look around the town, and we'll do the same thing. There's a switch there that comes out to a spur. Along that spur, we have some industries. Down on one end, we have Jake's Corral, where he takes in cows and livestock. Then moving up the spur, we have Green's Dairy. He takes in whatever frozen goods and dairy products that the town needs. We go across the road, across the highway, and we come up to Woodrow's Door and Sash. Looks like they just got a delivery of wood. And across the road from him, we have the Farmers Co-op Feed and Seed, where they take in farm goods and whatever the town needs and the people in the area need. So, returning back to our train, we'll have Mr. BB and Mr. Clegg get back on board, and we'll proceed on to Cindy's Landing, which is the next stop on our tour. Now, while they're going on their way, outside of town we have the lumber mill, which is Winter's Lumber Yard. They take logs from Kevin's logging company over there in Hancock and cut it and mill it and ship it out to the rest of the valley. Our little train is now approaching the switch going off to Barney's Crossing, and in Barney's Crossing we have the railroad yard. In the railroad yard we got a few engines sitting waiting. We got a turntable, and we got roundhouse. It's only one stall, but hey, it's what we got. So let's go over and see what's going on over at Cindy's Landing. Our train should be coming out of the tunnel right about now. Train should be coming out any minute now out of the tunnel. Up there she is. We beat them to it. Right here is Stan's place. Stan Murphy. He's got they own the mine up there in Scoobyville. We'll see that a little later on. Go past the campgrounds. In the background, you see Chardonnay Lake, going over Chardonnay River right now. I'm coming into the bustling metropolis of Cindy's Landing. Alrighty, there we go. Now, Cindy's Landing, and the gentleman will be getting off the train once again. We have our chain gangs working hard alongside the railroad. As you can see, we have a pretty good sized station. Denver and Rio Grande were nice enough to leave one of their engines here that they were going to scrap. Next to that is Honest Larry's car dealership. Don't know how Honest Larry is, but wait a minute, what's that? Over there at the bank. What's going on? My God, look, it's a robbery. And our illustrious police are going ahead and taking them down. I think we'll go and break for lunch right about now. So we'll continue our tour later on. Well, we've just had lunch, and the gentlemen are now going around to look all over Cindy's Landing. Over here we have the suds bucket, And it looks like there's some patrons outside that are having a little disagreement. Hope everything turns out all right. Hope they don't find out that Cindy's watering down into the drinks. But anyways, as we move along, they go down the street. We come up to the Rio Grande Freight Depot. Rio Grande Freight Depot gets a lot of single carloads of goods. They get cars of sand. They get cars of whatever the people order. Right next to the Rio Grande Depot, we have the Cindy's Sun Oil Company. They take in tank loads of fuel to be distributed around throughout the town and the surrounding countryside. Next to that is Randy's Junkyard. It's not a very big junkyard, but it keeps him busy, and he'll get gondolas in to be filled up with junk and whatnot, and boxcars come in once in a while to pick up any cardboard or whatever that wouldn't be put into a gondola. We have a church. Oh, somebody passed away over there in Boot Hill. Look at that. Oh, our condolences. Anyways, we move past the small freight yard, and there's some fishing cabins on the outside of the lake there. And we come down to Kobe's Creamery. They take in supplies and produce milk, cheese, butter, whatever dairy products that they can ship out to the rest of the valley. Beyond that is Cindy's Cattle Emporium, or just Cindy's Stockyard. Anyways, she takes in and ships out cattle for the ranchers. The track continues on, but it's blocked. There's a tunnel that caved in, and rather than fix it, they just went ahead and closed it all off. So, walking back down to our train, the gentlemen are almost there, getting ready to get on. Fred and Charlie got their had their lunch. They're getting back ready to start up the engine. I hear it already. I see that there's a boxcar on the siding here to be picked up by the mine crew from Elena's mine. We'll be going over there when we leave here. So maybe we'll have to drop them a note and say, hey, guys got a pickup over there. Don't forget about it. Okay, I think Charlie's ready to go. And away they go. Going out behind the back of the suds bucket there. I'm going up towards the top of the mountain. Coming up to the switch for the branch line going to Elena's mine. Slowing down. Okay, going back up. And go down the branch line to Elena's mine. We're coming up to Buck's cabin. Buck is an old cowboy, wanting to get away from people. So he's up there with his horse and his truck, living a quiet life. Coming up to the ravine. Coming into Elena's mine. Looks like they have the GP7 here today. What the arrangement is that they'll keep an engine up here and will take loads of cars down where we saw that box car and drop them off and pick up any cars that are down there and bring them up here. When it's time to for maintenance, the road engine will come and they'll switch engines down there in Cindy's Landing and bring the road engine up and take the shuttle engine back to the railroad yard and do whatever maintenance is needed on it. But here's the Elena mine, and I think the guys are all happy. So I think we're off and running. Now we'll proceed back up the hill and head for the snow shed and the tunnel on our way to Scoobyville. Here we got the train going through the snow shed on its way through Stub My Toe Mountains. We're coming up to the station in Scoobyville. So here we are in Scoobyville. Scoobyville has a few industries and a little freight yard. In the back there we have Republic Foundry. They bring in cars of coal for the foundry, scrap metal, bar metal, sheet metal, and occasionally it looks like they got a load of lumber to build crates with, etc. You follow that up and there's a switch going to Al's General Store. Al's General Store is the place to go if you need to have shipments delivered and somebody have to sign for them and just needs to be held there. He also gets the local groceries, dairy products, whatever he can take in for his customers. There's also a team track here with a dock, and right now there's a reefer sitting there. I don't know if these guys are just sleeping or what they're doing, but anyways, the reefer's sitting there waiting to be unloaded. Now they also get shipments of oil and coal and whatnot, and whoever orders those cars will come up and do the unloading and then notify the railroad that the cars are empty and they can be picked up the next day. At the end of that spur, we come to Murphy's Mine. Murphy ships out iron ore. He takes in lumber for his to build his tunnel, his mine shafts with. He also mining machinery that he needs comes in. So he has box cars, he has lumber cars, and of course he's got the gondolas to load the iron ore in. That's about all the industries that we have here in Scoobyville. The bridge here leads off to go across Chardonnay River, and below is the track going to Casey's Curve, and then it winds up going into Cindy's Landing. So with that, I think the gentlemen are ready to get back on their train. Old Freddie sounded the horn. So here we go. So here we are again. We meet up with the train coming out of Scoobyville, getting ready to go across Bandit's Trestle. Now, there's history behind Bandit's Trestle. In the old days, 20 years ago maybe, train robbers would put a barricade at one end of the trestle, and when the train got out on the trestle, they'd close it off and come up behind them and rob them, and then take off again. So ever since, it's been called Bandit's Trestle. Here we are, caught up with the train again, and we'll be going across the High Line, going back down into the valley and back into Jake's Corners. You look close up on the mountain, you'll see Jake's old gold mine up there, played out a few years ago, and that's how Slumber Valley really got started, because when the mine played out, that's when Denver and Rio Grande said that it wasn't worth running up to the valley anymore. So the train's on its way down. He should be putting on his dynamic brakes pretty soon. Oh, there he goes. Putting his brakes on, dynamic braking, coming down the grade. Now all the engines, or at least